Hey guys, Novel Busher here, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about balance and Monster Hunter Wilds, because that's probably the main thing I hope they get better in this game in comparison to pretty much any other Monster Hunter game. You know, we've always had balance issues, you know, from Rise, World, 4, 3, like no matter what, there's always been some issue when it comes to things like longsword or gun lance or the range weapons, charge blade. Like, there's always something overpowered and something underpowered. So yeah, let's get into this. So starting off for me, you know, I started in Try, and Lance was quite strong in Try and 3U, and Gun Lance was quite strong in 3U. But you know, moving on to 4 and Gen, you know, Gun Lance seemed to kind of dip in popularity in strength, and Lance, obviously, as the games have gone by, have dipped. And you know, balance is really important to me. It makes it feel more interesting to use certain weapons, and it makes you feel like you actually have more of a choice to try different playstyles when you don't feel like, if I play a certain weapon, it's going to take me so much longer to defeat monsters. Like I remember when I was playing GU, certain weapons and certain styles I would use. I mean, fair enough, GU is not a balanced game at all because of just the way it's built, but certain weapon styles and weapon combos would just make me feel a bit, you know, exhausted. Like, why do I want to go through the effort of fighting something for 5, 6, 10 more minutes than I would just using what I know and what's strong enough? Like, it just kind of disincentivizes me to try new things sometimes when the balance is off. I really hope Capcom really tie down weapon balance in general and make it more effective. You know, like we've seen in Rise, for example, you know, the latest entry, we'll talk about that one primarily, how they buffed longsword quite a lot, and longsword in base Rise was absolutely busted. It was way too strong, it was doing so much damage. And weapons such as gun lance and charge blade weren't as strong as some of the other weapons. And now in Sunbreak, charge blade is a ridiculously strong elemental fire, is doing thousands of damage if you max out. Like you're doing crazy amounts. So that weapon got buffed. But you know, some weapons like gun lance still gets left behind. Switch axe isn't the strongest weapon. It's definitely cool and nice, effective weapon, but it's not strongest. Lance is always lower in the tier list when it comes to damage. So it's just things like that. It would be nice if we have it more tightly refined when it comes to stuff. But we know, you know, one of the big culprits has always been range weapons. Range weapons have been broken for most Monster Hunter's history. You know, monsters find it difficult to hit people who are at range. They find it difficult to engage, and range just seems to be really powerful and actually delivering a lot of damage. And it's quite safe. Well, safer than being up in the monster's face. Obviously, you take more damage, but getting hit isn't always the hardest thing to do when you're playing range. From what I've seen, I don't play range myself too much, so maybe that's anecdotal, but who knows. Another instance of balancing that I wanted to work on is skills. You know, I've talked about skills before in other videos, but the skills you get from armor sets and talismans and so on, decorations, there's a mess. You know, some skills are so powerful, like, you know, the most of the offensive one, attack is okay. I don't think it's too powerful. You got tenderizer, you got crit boost, you know, a critical eye, you got all this crit meta that's been going on for Monster Hunter for a long time. There's always the same decorations that people are using, the same skills. You know, tenderizer is a big contender in this. Evade, a window in Rise, Evade extender was broken, but I wouldn't say it was like overly broken. It was just like a strong thing actually. You know, and Rise and Sunbreak was great in bringing in so many weapons, but obviously it didn't add to the fact that there was a lot of skills that were still broken, and some of the new skills that added were broken too. And there's a lot of skills, definitely defensive skills and utility skills that just get left at the wayside because of the way the game is balanced, and the fact that we can have so many skills in this game. I know people say, I remember I saw a post from Guardian Hunter saying he liked how he actually came around and liked how there were so many skills, because, you know, you could throw in some defensive skills and all this stuff. But honestly, because you can have so many skills, in the end it doesn't end up you just adding defensive because you can. It normally ends up is how much max damage can I get, and after that, then yeah, sure, I got a 1 slot or 2 slot, let me add it in for defense. But it's not really like intentful, if you know what I mean. It's very like loosely just whatever. And I feel like the fights in Monster Hunter should really compel people to want to wear certain armors, want to wear certain defenses, resistances when it comes to elements. You know, if you don't have a good amount of fire resistance, when you get a fireball to the face, if you're minus 20, your fireball should take 80% of your HP or something. You need to actually prepare for it. I think it's important. All this balancing and stuff, it really adds into the whole game and how you approach the game. Let me go to that example. You know, you're fighting a monster, you're wearing this armor. You know, you've been using the same armor throughout the game, right? And for the first letter of the game, you know, normally in this first part of a Monster Hunter, there's not too many elemental monsters. They might get, you know, every now and then, but not too many. But let's say the armor you got from one of the first monsters is weak against fire, really weak, and you haven't fought any fire monsters, but you get to a fire monster, and this fire monster hits like a truck when you get hit by fire, and there's a lot of fire. Now you could be stubborn and brave and keep on pushing, and maybe the fight's hard enough to make you really have to retry. The fact that the game kind of leads you to want to pursue different armors and different abilities, something that's not fire you know, negative, something that can give you fire plus, or something that can help you fight that monster, it adds to the gameplay loop, it adds to the immersion, it adds to the user feeling like they need to go out of their way to get stuff just to defeat that boss. It's not that they can just brave it and just get through it, because, you know, it's not as difficult as it could be. You know, things like that are very important, and I really would hope we see more of that coming into the newer eras in Monster Hunter, definitely Monster Hunter Wild. I want them to really push balance and more thoughtful, methodical when it comes to build sets and how builds are created, or sets are created, sorry, in Monster Hunter. And I think it's important, definitely for the game and definitely for the player, and for my enjoyment, definitely. You know, I don't want to just be feeling like it's so loose I can just throw in whatever attacks go and I'll be fine. You know, I want to get punished for not preparing properly. My defenses, my resistances, you know, my other skills, utility skills, mud resistance, bind resistance, all this other stuff that you don't normally think about. I want monsters to punish us, and that also comes into monster moves. Monsters need to use moves more that punish people for not preparing for them, and when they get punished for not preparing, they get hit hard and they die. We need to see that happening more. You know, I normally think of Devons as the peak for that when it comes to me. Each Devon had a different mechanic towards it, you know, like Ice Baron, Snow Baron, sorry, Ice Baron, Snow Baron throwing snowballs over. She just does so much snow. You need bind resistance. That just helps you. Bind resistance is great. Or when you're fighting against Grimclaw. Grimclaw does a lot of tremors, and the tremors aren't too deadly, but you know, if you have tremor res, that'd be amazing. Dread King and wind resistance. It's just things like that. Those kind of things help you in a fight and makes you the user go out of their way to get certain stuff specifically for a monster. These fights are hard enough, engaging enough, and you need to really go out your way enough to fight monsters. The games are just going to be so much better, they're going to last longer, and they're going to be so much more enjoyable. Trust me on that. But yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.